Recording now, and there we go. Disabling the waiting room, admitting everyone.
Thank you so much, Gigi, for your help.
Mhm.
Hi, everyone. If you are here for the first time homebuyers class, you are in the right place. I am so excited to be here with you all. Marlon Hernandez is our real estate expert that is going to be speaking this evening and talking to you all and educating you all. Once you get in and get settled, if you would, go to the chat box and drop in the chat what area of town you're from. We'd love to know what area people live in and what area you're thinking about maybe moving to. So glad you're here. Marlon, we've got somebody from Fort Lauderdale, Plantation, west side of Jacksonville. We have Miss Lizette from Miami. So glad you all are here.
Excellent, excellent.
Hi, everyone. As you're coming in and getting settled, if you are here for the first time homebuyers class, you're in the right place. We are thrilled you are here. Marlon Hernandez is our expert in the real estate industry. You are going to learn so much and have so much information you can take away tonight from this webinar. We're going to get started somewhere between 5 and 6 minutes. So just come on in, get settled, get a glass of water, maybe a snack. You're definitely going to want a notepad. You're probably going to want to make some notes. Again, come in once you get settled. Go to the chat. Tell us what area of town you're from. We'd love to know what area you're in. Stacy, Denise, and Jill. Sharita, so glad you're here. Yvette, so glad you're here. Yvette, my niece lives in the Arlington area. She and her husband bought a wonderful little home out there about 10 years ago. So I know exactly where you're talking about.
All right. I see people from a lot of places. That's fantastic.
Marlon, they are going to have so much good information from you tonight. They're going to be thrilled with this webinar. They have no idea what awesome knowledge they're on the verge of getting. I'm really excited for this one.
I'm really excited about this this evening, Tanya. I know there's a lot of people out there questioning whether it's the right time to buy. Christmas coming. What am I going to do next year? And I'm really happy to always have the opportunity to speak to people, common people like you and I, that are looking for information and ready to take a step.
Oh, so exciting. Hi, everyone. I see more of you coming in from the waiting room. We're going to be starting in just a little bit. Come on in, get settled. Drop in the chat box what area of town you're from. We'd love to know if you're from Miami, if you're from Orlando, or maybe from Jacksonville. The good thing is that Marlon is an expert in opportunities in all of those markets. You're going to learn about first-time home buying opportunities in Florida tonight. Make sure you have a notepad, make sure you have a pen, probably a glass of water. Come on in, get comfortable. We're thrilled you're here. Stephanie, glad you're here. This is going to be a packed house tonight, so I cannot wait for you all to have an opportunity to learn from our expert in the real estate industry. So glad you all are here. Well, Dana, glad you're here.
Welcome, everybody. My pleasure being here with you guys today. Tanya, anybody would want to sit here and talk with that type of introduction and the energy that you bring. I'm really happy that you're on board on this evening.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. I wouldn't be excited if I didn't know how much people need this info.
Absolutely.
This is going to be wonderful. Hi, everyone. As you're coming in from the waiting room, first of all, we are so glad you were here. You have an amazing expert here in the real estate industry by name of Marlon Hernandez. He is going to be educating you for the first half of the webinar. Then the last half, he's going to be answering all of your questions. So do not hesitate to stick around. This is going to be wonderful. So come on in, get settled. Drop in the chat box what area of town you're from. We'd love to know whether we pulled people from North Florida, Central, or maybe down in Miami. So glad you're here. Welcome, come on in. So it's going to be an amazing class tonight.
Pembroke Pines, Orlando, Plantation, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Coconut Creek. Where's my people from Boca Raton, West Palm Beach?
Oh, you got West Palm
There
Beach
you
in the
go,
house.
West Palm.
Fantastic. And
Boca.
Boca. I love it.
Secret Service, they were hiding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pompano Beach, fantastic, fantastic. Many of you have seen me probably out there. Love to meet each one of you.
Wonderful. So glad you all are here.
Awesome, awesome. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. If you are here for the first time homebuyers class, you are in the right place. We're going to get started in just a little bit. We like to get started on time, but I see a bunch of people still coming in from the waiting room. Marlon, do you mind if we wait just maybe another 60 seconds for everyone to kind of get in and get settled?
That should be just fine. I'm really excited to get started, but we can wait a couple minutes, let everyone settle in, and then we get rock and roll.
Wonderful. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the First Time Homebuyers class. If you are here for that class, you're in the right place. So glad you are here. Welcome. Grab a notepad and a pen. You're definitely going to want to be making some notes throughout. And if you will, go ahead and go to the chat box and drop what area of the state you're from. We have people from every area that you can imagine. So glad you all are here. We're going to get started in 30 seconds. Okay, everyone, I just want to make a note. We do have moderators that are on the chat. If you're having any type of technical issues, please just message the moderator and she'll be able to help you throughout. All the questions, we are going to answer the questions at the end, so we cannot wait. Marlon, I am going to be quiet. I will come back. I'm going to turn this over to you, sir. Have a fantastic webinar. Enjoy, folks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this first time homebuyer class. My name is Marlon Hernandez. I'm going to be attending this class with you. At some point, they'll leave me alone, like I believe they just did now, to take care of the class and provide information with you guys. And I want to make sure that I cover all the most important and basic things, steps, and information that we can actually share in order to help you in some way decide where you are in the buying process and be a little bit more educated about this and hopefully even enjoy the process. For some of you, this may be something that you've been thinking about for quite some time and you're wondering if this webinar is for you. First of all, we want to go to some housekeeping. Just like Tanya was mentioning, today we're going to have 30 minutes of presentation time. I won't take too much of your time tonight talking about things that some of you may know, some of you are going to find out today, but we want to make sure that we cover the most important things about this process, something that can get you started. Then we actually will have 30 minutes of questions and answers. You definitely don't want to miss this. You want to be taking notes, like Tanya said, something that you may hear about and you would like to ask something regarding that subject, just write it down. And later on at the end of the presentation, we will have the opportunity to go through those questions and those answers. There's going to be a chat box there for you to type those questions in throughout the process, and we'll get to that some point towards the end of the evening. Also, we're going to have a link for you to book a one-on-one, completely free one-on-one with someone in my team, probably myself, to go over your particular specific scenario and help you identify what are the factors that you need to work on, if any, towards the purchase of your home. So after that 30-minute one-on-one consultation, you and I can have a predetermined home buying plan for you to accomplish that in the first, second, or third part of next year. So we're looking forward to that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Please make sure you fill that out. Now, at this particular moment, you're probably feeling concerned about the process. You may be stressed out about whether or not this is something you can actually achieve. What is happening with the market? Is this the right time? Did I miss my chance, my window to buy a home? Are they too expensive for me? Will the market be good for me? Are you getting anxious about all these things? Obviously, those are all normal ways to feel in this process. It is, in fact, considered by most people the most important investment of your lifetime. I tend to believe that even if you're not in a position today to buy your dream home, guess what? Some dream homes may be available to you as your second purchase. Maybe you get to live with your family in a couple of years in your starter home, and then you can actually upgrade to your dream home. That's what some of my closest friends and myself have been able to do in the last decade or so, working and living in this market. We're in South Florida. Myself, I'm from Boca Raton. Work all throughout the state of Florida, from Miami-Dade all the way up to Jacksonville. I've been in Ocala, obviously Pembroke Pines, Weston, Plantation, Pompano. Great programs in Pompano. I'll be able to share with you in our one-on-one. Also, Orlando. Oh my God, it's fantastic. There's so much going on up there. At this moment, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am, why you would like to at some point speak to us. My team and I have been working in this industry since 2007, approximately. I started in the South Florida market, providing services such as debt negotiation, credit improvement, credit boost, credit repair. Eventually in 2015, we made the move to become a real estate agent here in the South Florida market. However, my first home was sold in 2003, working out of a RE/MAX office in the Dominican Republic. Why do I tell you that? Because I want you to understand that we are working here and we're ever changing in our market. We have to continue to update. We have to continue to evolve. And the most important thing about this process is to surround yourself with a team of people that understand their clients, that understand their community, that become experts in their communities and can provide a service. This is a great career to be in. I decided to become a loan officer in 2018, combining that credit, debt, credit, and real estate experience for so many years. I just fell in love with the lending process. I like the idea of being creative with the financing terms to help individuals that maybe didn't have all the tools ready to become a homeowner at the moment, but you can create a plan to help them get there. And it's been very rewarding, and I like to extend that ability to accomplish that to each and every single one of you. Remember what? Look for that link in the chat box, and let's get rocking and rolling. Is this webinar for you? There's a few things that determine that. Obviously, if you're here, you're looking for some information, and we're just happy to provide it to you. Maybe you're looking for some clarity regarding what's going on with the market. I can tell you that over the last 40 years, approximately, this South Florida, in this case, market has continuously grown. Some people say close to 3%, some to 5%. I encourage you to do some research regarding that. We are continuously receiving people from out of state moving into Florida, which is one of the reasons that makes this market ever growing. Maybe you're just tired of paying rent. Most of us first-time home buyers decide that, hey, maybe we can buy a property, maybe again, not the dream home, but we can buy our first property and start paying our own mortgage. Let's build some equity. Let's stop paying somebody else's mortgage. Rent is necessary, but when the time is right, and hopefully for most of you, this is the right time, then it's time for you to go ahead and become a homeowner. Maybe you're just not having the certainty whether your property is going to go, whether your landlord is going to sell the house, and you're going to have to move quickly. You may get a 30-day notice. So some of the things that people in my surrounding tell me that's why they make the decision to buy a home. So we're going to go through some of those. Obviously, throughout this presentation, you're going to realize if this is the time for you to start working towards that. Some people wonder if this is the right time because they don't know what is involved in buying the house. There's three major factors that we're going to see those in a little bit deeper down the line, but three major factors. One of them is your income, whether you're self-employed or you're employed, whether you're hourly wage, salary, or you might be 100% commission, or you may have a combination of salary plus commission. We'll determine that on that one-on-one, and we'll figure out what is your maximum purchase power based on the relation between your debts and your type of income and the amount of the income that you have been, that you're able to verify and justify. For those of you that are concerned about your credit, yes, credit is one of the major factors on buying a home, especially for a first-time home buyer. There's different programs. There's people that are able to buy their first home with a sub 600 credit. There are programs for that. Obviously, no matter what type of lending scenario you're looking at, the better credit means the better terms of whatever type of loan that you're looking for. This goes as well for a mortgage loan. So you can potentially buy a house with even under 600 credit score. There are some programs available for that. The down payment. You can buy a first-time home buyer. As a first-time home buyer, you can purchase a home with as little as 3%. Some cities and counties in Florida have down payment assistance that you could actually qualify for, and obtain. Yeah, I've seen cases up to $40,000 towards the purchase of your first home. There's programs that have some requirements that others don't. I'm going to be able to encourage you and guide you as to which of those cities may have a program available that you can actually qualify for. The other things that you're going to be considered for is whether or not your debt needs to be addressed throughout the process. Some people may have high credit card balances that they can easily reduce. Maybe you have student loans. We'll have the opportunity to go through those in order to get you the maximum purchase power approval you can achieve. There are some basic steps in order to go from wanting to buy a house and getting the house. The first thing that you're going to need is match yourself with a lender. Myself and my team will be very happy to sit down with you and get you pre-approved, or at least create a game plan that is a solid game plan that you can easily follow, so that within a reasonable time frame, you can become a homeowner. Now, once we sit down with you and we determine what you can and cannot purchase, what your ideal scenario will be, what area you choose to search a home for, then we will go ahead and create for you what we call the approval letter. This pre-approval letter would have a very solid impact for whenever you do find that home within those parameters, that you can actually negotiate with your realtor the best offer possible and have a very good chance of getting that offer accepted. Now, through the process of getting you pre-approved, we will obviously go over your budget, your ideal monthly payment, your ability to commit to that monthly payment once you purchase a home. We'll also discuss with you what your future scenario would be, whether it's good for you to consider in the future, either stepping up and upgrading to a newer home, or you would like to refinance. Those are things that we'll discuss with you so that you can have more clarity. Once you have your down payment estimate, your closing cost estimate, your monthly payment estimate, then you can go out and match yourself. We will help you select a realtor in your area. If you do not have one just yet, if you have somebody that you have a close relationship with, they have the right experience, you like them, trust them, and believe them, then certainly we would like to meet them so that we can work hand in hand with that person in order to get you the most appropriate property possible. If you don't have it, let us know. We will connect you with the right person that we believe will help you the most. Once you choose the realtor, now you have the ability to go and shop. Okay, for some people, this may be very, very fun. For some people, may be a little bit stressing. It's okay. All right, remember, this is a very important investment, not only about money, but your time and your emotions into buying your first home. So as long as you have the support of the right team of people, you will get through that, and you'll be one of those happy faces that we often see on Instagram and Facebook, sharing their new home, whether by their friend realtor or the title agency or the lender. And we like to be involved in every single one of our closings. Once you see the house, you'll have several steps to achieve and to get to closing. One of them will be to inspect the property. You want to make sure that the house that you see and you make an offer on and it gets accepted, that you go and inspect it. So although this is I like to call it a right that you have as a home buyer to inspect the property so that you can make sure that everything is in place, the air conditioner is working, how old the roof is, etc. There's certain things that you may see in the property that may not be quite up to par. Well, this is the chance and time period for you to either request repairs, request replacements, or even get some credits. Okay, nowadays in today's market, sellers may be inclined to work with you on some of those costs of repairs and some of those closing costs because of the transition that we're seeing in this market, which is likely going to be very beneficial to you. You're going to do the inspection. Once the inspection is done, then now you can actually get the quotes from your insurance validated by that inspection. So it's a very important aspect here. Although the inspection is a right that you may or may not fulfill as a home buyer, the insurance company here in Florida, they require the inspection of the property, that report, for them to make sure that what they're going to invest in you or the risk that they're taking insuring your property is up to par. So because the insurance will request it and require it, the lender also requires the insurance policy to be in place before closing. So it becomes a requirement as well. Now, once the contract is done, the inspection is done, then we have the next part of the process. This is where the title agency will request title insurance. They will make sure that they estimate all of the costs regarding the acquisition of this property, taxes, stamps, transfer fees, etc. All of those costs will be disclosed to you within a reasonable amount of time at the beginning of the process by the title agency selected. They also will be the ones responsible for holding escrow. Escrow would be the account that they use to hold the money of your deposit. And when the time comes for closing, that escrow account will receive the funds from the bank, the funds from your down payment, whatever difference is between your deposit and your down payment. And then they'll disperse that to the seller, the real estate agents, and to you, they'll deliver the key. So before that happens, the bank will also request a second inspection, which will be the appraisal. This is where the bank and you determine the actual value of the property. Am I paying the right amount for this property? Is the bank lending you the right amount based on the risk factor on that property? So the appraiser will be in the property. They will look at properties having sold within the last several months in that particular area with similarities or equal size and characteristics of your home, and they will determine what your home is worth. If the property is worth more than what you're paying for, then you just made a very good purchase. You're buying with equity involved in your property. Now you're winning before you even move in. If your appraisal becomes lesser than the purchase or the sales price, then that's the time for you and your realtor, your agent, to go and negotiate a new sales price with the seller so that you can not only comply with the requirements of the bank, but also with your predetermined cash out of pocket for the purchase of the property. So once that's done, then we're really close to closing. At this moment, the property gets a survey. This is where you get to see the original register in the court system, the original layout of the property, where the land ends, where the building begins, all of that stuff, where the street across it starts and finishes, all of that stuff is going to be on your survey. So obviously that's one of the things that get ordered by the title agency that is part of your closing cost estimate. Okay, right before closing, you're gonna do a few things. You're gonna do a second walkthrough or a final walkthrough on your property to make sure that repairs, conditions of the house are as you expected them to be when you made the decision to buy the house. This is also when the bank or the lender, we make sure that you get what we call a closing disclosure. This closing disclosure will tell you what your estimated verified cost at the initial part of the process, what the title agency gave you as estimates. Now it will have the final numbers, but also the cost of the loan, your monthly payments, your interest rates, all of that will be there because it has been logged. And now you have 3 days by law to review those before your closing. Okay, so you should receive those 3 or more days prior to the closing date selected originally. Sometimes there are certain things that are not done on time by the closing date, and you may see that your real estate professionals will agree on an extension period. They'll write an addendum to make you, to help you complete whatever steps may have had some kind of obstacles. It is common. Sometimes timeframes cannot be 100% manipulated, but typically you'll be able to close your home from the moment you write a contract to the day of closing within a 30-day period. Sometimes we're able to close loans in 10, 15, 21 days. We're very happy that happens, as long as both parties are in agreement of that time frame. Once you get to the closing table, typically the seller will sign at the title agency at an earlier date, at an earlier time. So let's just say they sign at 11, you might be scheduled to sign at 1 o'clock. So either way, your agents will determine those times. They schedule that with the title agency and will allow you to go in separate times, sign the documents. And once the bank funds the transaction and everybody gets their money, you'll get your keys. And now you have become a home owner. Okay, so now you become a homeowner in your area. You went through the process, and I'm pretty sure that at this moment you may have some questions. Remember, there's a chat box. You can start typing them. I see that most of you have been putting some comments on that. I appreciate it, and I thank you very much that you are doing that. Allows us to answer those questions in the near future very easily for you. Remember, the chat box is there. There's going to be a link as well that will allow you to book that one-on-one. Now, these are some of the things that people commonly ask after a short meeting or when they see or hear this information online or in person. It's like, who pays for the commission? The commission is typically, in most cases, paid by the seller. And that property, if it's already on the market that you saw it, whether you have found it on your own or with a real estate agent looking for you, that property is likely going to have a real estate commission listing agreement with that agent, the one that represents the seller. So the seller pays for the commission. There may be occasions where there's an investment group looking for a property off market, and they may add or remove a commission on their own. But for a typical sales transaction with a first-time home buyer, the seller will list the property with a real estate agent. They will have an agreement to pay them a commission, and that commission is split between the two real estate agents involved in the transaction. Certain things that you really would like to know. Do I know a lender in my local area? Do I know a lender in South Central or North Florida? Yes, you do now. Another thing you may be asking yourself is, when am I looking to buy a house? Am I ready to buy today? I gotta tell you, when I'm sharing with you, my wife and I, we are in the process of buying our first home together, right? But several years ago, I had the opportunity to get involved in the real estate investment market. And so far, we've acquired a few properties. We've done very well. We love the fact that we have the ability to not only create this wealth and this path for ourselves, but we also are able to help people around us, family members, friends, acquaintances, business partners from the past, from the present, acquire their first and their second and more other homes as they build an investment portfolio. In your case, let's find out what that timeline is. You may need to move next month. You may like to not have to renew your lease, or simply you just getting ready. Maybe it's gonna be next year. Maybe you need some things to take care of. Let's find that out. Also, you might be wondering if now is the right time. And I gotta tell you this, today is the right time to buy a house. If you meet the criteria and you're able to provide the documents necessary to qualify for a home, today is the best time to buy. The only better time to buy that we've had is yesterday, a month ago, or a year ago. But tomorrow will be a great time to buy, but it's better to buy today. Now, remember to book your appointment so we can have that nice chat in private, go over your details, and make that plan together. These are some of the mistakes that you definitely want to avoid, or these are some of the things that are mostly a cliche, or they're just not real when you buy your first home in today's market. Number one, you're supposed to have 20% down. Some people will tell you that you need 20% down so you can avoid paying private mortgage insurance. Although that is true that you're able to eliminate the private mortgage insurance by paying 20% down, but it is not necessarily the best option for you. Let me just tell you that today, as opposed to many years ago, private mortgage insurance, especially when you have very good credit, it is considered very inexpensive on a conventional loan when you compare it to an FHA loan, for example. We'll go through that, obviously, on a one-on-one to make sure that you understand which are the differences and why one loan against the other. But typically today, you are able to buy as a first-time home buyer with as little as 3% down. Conventional loan, 3% down, and you're able to keep that money, whether for repairs of the house, buy furniture, maybe to keep it in savings because we don't know what may or may not happen with the economy. We have to be positive at all times, but I can tell you that if you have at least 3% down and you're able to qualify for a conventional loan, that would be the best way to go as a first-time home buyer. Second thing that is very common and not necessarily true, you must have a very high credit score to buy a home. Like I said earlier, there are programs for first-time home buyers that would allow you to buy the house with a sub 600 credit, 580, 590, maybe 620, okay? Yes, again, of course, if you have a very good 740 credit score, you will have the best interest rate, the best terms available at the moment. But not necessarily that has to hinder you from buying your home, okay? Like Dave Ramsey said, do not marry the rate. Buy the house and marry the house and go out with a date. In the next year or two, we may have the opportunity to refinance that rate for a much lower rate. So if you can build and work on your credit now until the time comes for you to refinance and get a much better loan, then work on that today so that you can be ready in the future. Third, you should purchase a home at the top end of your approval. I will be able to give you the maximum purchase power on your approval letter. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend all that money. Maybe that's what's going to help you go out and see what home you can get for that $350,000, $380,000 maximum end of your purchase power. But maybe you can find a property in the 275 range. And I'm just throwing numbers out there just for example. And when you have that, you leave yourself with a commitment to a monthly payment that is not stressing you every month. I see a lot of people making the mistake of just buying the most house they can buy based on what the paper says. Well, for some of you that may work, but I certainly want to encourage you to find the right medium, find the balance, and I'll give you the letter. I'll give you the opportunity to maximize that, but you have to make that conscious decisions within your family and obviously with our guidance of what budget you will look for your house. Fourth thing is try to buy a home on your own. There's really very little, if not any benefit for you to go out on your own, whether you are or not an expert in the industry. If you have the ability to have a professional help you not only buy the home, but investigate the home, but have a non-emotional connection to the transaction, but yet all their interest is geared towards your better purchase, go and hire the real estate agent, go and hire the right loan officer that can help you understand the ins and outs of your transaction. And guess what? Their commission is paid by others. We talked about it earlier. The seller pays the commission. So go get that real estate agent that will help you and represent you when you're buying the property from someone else. You definitely want to use an experienced lender, an experienced real estate agent. Yes, we may have that cousin that just got their license. You can get them involved. You may even hire them, but ask them to please work with someone that has all the know how to do that he or she may not know yet. Okay, we all started somewhere, and you don't have to be great right from the beginning, but you have to get started to become great. So let that person help you, but try to get someone with the experience that you deserve to help them as well. Remember, if you decide to meet with us one-on-one, we're going to be there to book you. On the chat box, you go ahead and fill that out. We're here to meet with you when the time is right. These are some of the things that you definitely want to consider as you search for your new home. You want to identify whether this is going to be the house that you're going to live in. Obviously, as a first-time home buyer, that might be most of you, and that might be what you all are looking for. But you want to decide, like I was mentioning earlier, if this is a starter home, because this is what I can afford now, this is what I'm comfortable putting my family on right now. Let's live in it for a year or two. Let's get better financially. Let's prepare ourselves. And maybe we can either sell and buy the next one, or guess what? You may have the ability to rent that property and still go buy with a very low down payment your second home, so that you can upgrade and take step by step. We can talk about that later on as well. Can you afford the payments comfortably? Or like I was mentioning before, are you way at the top end of your budget and you may not be able to survive a week, if you get sick or something? So let's find a happy medium. Again, we go with the interest rates. Yes, the interest rates are relatively high today as they were for the last 2 years. But remember something. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2018, we don't have to go so far. This was the interest rate. Also, my clients were buying at a 5, 6, 7% interest rates then, but nobody made much noise about it because that's the norm. Today, we have experienced an increase in rates, but that is helping a lot of you because now your purchase price not only has it come down a little bit, but now your negotiation power has increased drastically. I remember several months ago where houses would be on the market for a day, multiple offers. People were paying 15, 20% over asking price. And us that we're trying to buy with our $20,000 for interest rate, for down payment and closing costs, we're not able to buy because someone else was paying $20,000 over the asking price. So today is level the ground field for you and I to go out and become homeowners. 3 things, the 3 major factors for you to buy the house. We mentioned it briefly before. Your household income and the relationship between that household income against your current liabilities or your debts. Let's say your car payments, student loans, your credit card debt, and your balances that you have to pay, your minimum payments every month, your personal loans. Maybe you have a collection account that is hindering you. Maybe you have a repo. Those are the things that will be considered, that will consider your credit score, but also the amount of responsibilities against your credit. Typically, a good number to have in your mind before we have that conversation is just around 40% of what you earn is what you can pay for your monthly payment on the house, including your taxes, your insurance, if there's an HOA, your principal, and your interest. So you can have that in mind. Okay, I can only use 40%. If you make $4,000 times 40%, you're looking at just under $1,500, $1,200 a month is what your monthly payment could be for your home. Okay, your down payment, where that money comes from, what program you're using, whether you're going to be at a 3%, 3.5%, 5%, or maybe you're buying a condo where you are required to put 20% because that condo doesn't qualify for anything less. So whatever your situation is at the time of your purchase, then those are the 3 major factors that you, I, and the bank will look for. It's definitely time to get in the game. We've gone through this information. I can only hope that after this information, you feel more prepared. You are less anxious. Remember, we're here as educators. We're not really trying to be salespeople here. Obviously, if you're in this chat, it's because you're looking for information to become a homeowner. We definitely look forward to speaking with you. I'd love to see each and every one of you on your 30-minute call that you're going to book through the link. And I believe at this moment, really, we're just going to go ahead and start looking at your questions, doing our best to respond to them. It's question and answer time. On the chat box, I believe you can put your questions, and the team will start answering them.
Wonderful webinar. My gosh, that was so much fantastic information. I am going to scroll back up to our first question. So let me just get to it here. I'm just looking at the area where everybody has responded. Folks, any of you that put in your questions, just know that I'm going to get to them in order. So I'm just going to the top one. You can keep dropping questions in though. So I had a question regarding receiving a certificate for this class. This isn't that type of class to my knowledge, correct, Marlon?
This is not a CE class or a first-time home buyer class that is required for your when you're in the process. Those are requested by Fannie Mae, and well, the answer is no. This is not one of those classes. I'll be more than happy to provide you with a link that will get you that certification.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Okay, let me just get to the next question. Thanks so much for your patience. Okay, I had a question from someone. Can you tell us about the timeline of purchasing a home? So if someone has to move out within 30 days, within 60 days, can you give us information about that type of timeline?
Absolutely, absolutely. Typically, from the moment that I consult you and get you pre-approved, the only time that is very it's difficult to control is what it will take you to find the house. But let's just say it takes you a week to find the right property. You went out with your real estate agent, you looked at 5-6 properties, you selected one property within your price range. I'll review the numbers right before you do the contract to make sure that that property is within that price range, and the cost regarding that property is within that time range. We won't be able to get on the contract. And from the moment of contract, we could close within 21 to 30 days. So you could be in a brand new home within a 30-day period from today, actually.
That's great information. I hope that answers the question. I have gotten a few questions that came to me direct. So if I look like I jump around, I'm just trying to make sure I get to them in the right time frame, folks. So can you answer what type of down payment assistance programs are available? What exists out there within the state of Florida or within certain areas?
Okay. The most popular down payment assistance programs are either going to come from a lender, or the ones that I've had the most successful experience with over the last 3 years is through the cities themselves. All cities in Florida, and sometimes the counties, have a down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers. The problem is whether they have funds to use them or not. Last year, we did a substantial amount of those down payment assistance program between the city of Pompano and Hallandale. We'll be more than happy to share that information with each one of you as to what are the requirements, who to contact, how to apply for them. We have a system created already for those. And I'm talking about the people down here in Broward. So Pompano has money. Hallandale had money last year. Have not had the pleasure at the beginning of the year. Have not had the pleasure past the summer to use, or anybody that has come to purchase in Hallandale and they were looking for down payment assistance. They all have something to do with your income and the size of your household, and that's what's going to qualify you for the amount they give you. And some of them may require a class, first-time home buyer class. Some of them won't. But likely they will all need to be accompanied by my pre-approval, or obviously someone else pre-approval that is an accepted lender for that particular program.
Excellent. And if there's someone from an area that's outside of South Florida, Broward County, you would be able to direct them accordingly, no matter what market they're in.
Yes, yes. If we don't have that information on file, someone from our staff will actually do the diligence to get them in the right place. Of course, we want to be able to help everyone that is within our state. Pretty soon, we'll be working in the state of Georgia as well. But in the meantime, we're focusing on, we have so much going on here in Florida that we want to make sure that we get to everyone.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Now, I had a question. Someone was looking to book an appointment and they said that there was a question about household income of 50,000 and above. Could you explain a little bit about what that threshold really means and why in this particular market they would be better served with that?
Yes, the thing is, we're looking at in the South Florida area, and I know in the Central Florida area is pretty similar to down here. Home prices, right? The homes that typically a first-time home buyer could go in to buy, whether it's a townhouse, a villa, or a single-family home, would be just about $300,000 mark or above. Correct? Now, for you to have in today's age, at this particular time in the market, a $300,000 home, you need to be able to pay a $2,000 mortgage, for example. Well, a $2,000 mortgage, 40%, like we discussed earlier, will be just above $50,000 income. So if you have lesser income than that, then you might not be able to fit the South Florida market for a single family home or a townhouse. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't, because maybe we do have the ability to guide you or to advise you on which ways to eliminate some of the liabilities that you have or to increase some of that income. In many ways, there are things that can be done. Also, if you are one of those people that don't have on your tax returns an average of $50,000 or more, but you do have a self-employed opportunity or situation, or your bank statements show a much more income than what you actually have declared in the past, I invite you to go ahead and contact us, because we have other programs that may require a little bit more down payment money, but you could actually complete the process of becoming a homeowner.
Understood. That's a good point. So folks, if you end up falling in that particular niche, go ahead, go to the link in the chat, book your one-on-one. I am seeing that the one-on-ones are starting to book up pretty quickly. Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Cheryl or Shirley. Thank you, Nakia, Monica, Sherry, Christina, or Christine, Martine, Tanita, Mara, Natalie, Salathiel, Jessica, Manushika, Sharita, Alexandria. Thank you all for booking your one-on-one. And I am so sorry if I butchered your name. I promise it was not intentional. So I had another question. What about what you described for new builds? Can you give the folks info?
The new builds, you mean properties that are being built?
Yeah.
In a
Yes.
particular market? We can talk about the Pompano Beach program. I know that I saw somebody was saying that they were interested. I'll just give you a little bit of a gist of it so that you can remember to bring that up in our one-on-one. Pompano Beach is a very good program for first-time home buyers. They have an inventory of just a few, and it fills up pretty quickly, of brand new homes, 3 to 4 bedrooms within the city limits that they're building and selling to their applicants that qualify for a grant, down payment assistance program, from $10,000 to $40,000 based on your income and the size of your household. So you would submit the application. I would be able to guesstimate, all right, based on my experience, what would be your down payment assistance amount, and they will allow you to use that money towards the down payment and closing costs of that property. And typically, the many deals that I've done with them, that I've helped my clients get the money and get the house, they've come out with just about $6,000 out of pocket to purchase a $325,000 home. So we'll be able to discuss that. There's a few of those homes that are going to be ready between February and March this year. And it's the last thing I remember, the last inventory check that I did with them for one of my clients, they still had 3 properties that had not been assigned to a buyer. So we may have some of those available for you. I'll be happy to get you on one of those.
That's amazing information. What about new builds in general? if some of the folks that are on are interested in possibly buying or building a home, can they still work with you and the realtor partners you have?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's two new bills that may be in question. One of them will be, I want to buy the land and build my own home, right? A custom built home. And I'm not buying it from anyone else. I'm just buying the land and building on it. There is a one-time close. This is how it's called. You don't have to get it that way, but there's a one-time close FHA loan that would allow you to build a home through obviously following certain requirements and certain guidelines. But yes, you could potentially buy a home in a specific area with the land included, and the bank will lend you the money after completion of the property with as little as 3.5% down. There's also, let's say you go to a brand new home development, and you went, let's just say, and I don't want to say any names, but one of those major builders in the Miami area or Orlando area, and they obviously give you some incentives to use their internal bank, their preferred lender, and they tell you 88,000, 15,000 towards closing costs. But most people don't fit their qualification box. And when you don't fit into that box, yes, you went in the contract, yes, you put the money down as a deposit, but then as this is 7-8 months ahead of time, by the time you're approaching the closing table, you may not qualify for their criteria. And this just happened to a lot of people because of the interest rates increase. They were qualified for the maximum amount in March, but now because the payment went up $400 based on the initial loan estimate, now they don't qualify. Well, now they have to go find someone that can actually get them a little bit more creative approach to getting qualified. We've been able to save some of those deals from some of those builders. So that's also available. You can buy a brand new home with a builder with your own lending partner.
Thank you so much. Folks, if you are ready to book your one-on-one, go to the chat box, click on that blue link, answer the 1 or 2 questions that are on there, and go ahead and get your one-on-one with Marlon and his team. Marlon, next question, are foreclosed homes eligible?
All homes are eligible as long as you're able to get it assigned to you for purchase. A foreclosed home typically would be vacant, right? Typically will be in the hands of the bank, or it will be at the auction. So most of those opportunities are achieved or able to take advantage of them by people with the cash at hand. That they can say, I want to buy this home at a very large discount, and I'll have your money in your bank in 5 days. Most of us don't have that ability at the time. And certainly, if we had the ability to do that, we're not in the first-time home buyers class. But let's just say one of you is there and would like to do that and has the ability to do that. There are lists of properties that are in the auction process or foreclosure process, come from the banks, come from investment groups. We have people in the area that send us properties that may go into foreclosure soon because the client can, person passed away, or they simply cannot pay their taxes or whatnot. So when we get this situation, we obviously share it with our clients and our real estate partners so that they can try to find the right client for them. You can, and you could also get financed. Let's say you do invest the money, and then there's some repairs that need to be done. We can actually help you refinance a purchase cash home so that you can get the money out and invest it elsewhere and keep the home as your primary or as investment home. There's a lot to talk about.
I had a question from someone that said, what if they have cash and they're looking to be able to buy a home in the very near future with cash? Would you by chance be able to maybe refer them to a realtor if they're not already working with one?
Absolutely. Here's what we've done. Over the last several years, we've built a network of over 1,200 real estate agents, professionals in the Florida market. Out of those 1,200 agents, there's a handful, several dozen agents that we are personable in many ways for quite a long time. Now we know how they work. We are the preferred lender of their offices. We've built very strong relationships. We have breakfast with them once a month, or some of them even once a week. So yes, we have the team to get you in that area the best service possible. We don't, we like to share the wealth, and we like to make sure that our people around us get from us, not only our clients, but also our realtor partners.
Excellent. That's incredible information. Thank you so much. So I had another question. Can you tell us a little bit about new build pricing that you've been seeing? Are you finding that there's new builds in the areas you cover, maybe Central Florida, that are 300 or under? Or are you finding that's really more homes that were already built?
Here's the thing, the construction market, for what I have been able to see over the last year and a half, there are a lot of projects going through completion. They've been hit with the raise of construction material, like everything. Gas was higher. Food is higher. Oh my God, gallon of milk, I saw the other day, over $12. So everything has gone up. Just like our shopping list has increased, you got to think about that. These people put a 500 home project in Orlando for $362,000, single family home. And everything they've invested to build it has gone up. So what most of them have done is they have sort of stopped the certain phases of it. Let's say they have 6 phases and they've delivered 2, or they focus on delivering the first 2. Well, the other 4 may just have to wait, because they need to know what's going to happen for them to be able to deliver, right? So what I haven't seen is them lowering the price. Okay, so in fact, they will try to get you if you're, I have a case with one of my clients right now that they just didn't qualify anymore after the rates went up. So in other times, they would have just defaulted them out of that purchase to be able to resell it to someone else, because they have so many people looking for properties. Well, today they've done everything they can to be patient with my client. I was able to get them requalified. However, I noticed that they were very, very eager and patient to help them get through and to close on the property. So there will be more, but I think after this year finishes, we started at the beginning of next year, we shall see more construction getting ahead and starting over. There's projects. I just went to Jacksonville, St. Augustine last year, St. John. There's some people here from Jacksonville, and I was impressed. Within a year, probably 10 or 15 projects on my way from 95 to my cousin's property, from my cousin's home, and I saw probably 10 projects that are under construction right now. That's a very interesting area. I'd love to get myself 1 or 2 properties there.
That's wonderful. Had a question from Sherry. She said, on those programs that have the funding available, what if funding runs out while your loan is being processed?
You mean on the down payment assistance programs?
I believe so.
No, they're actually very good with that. If they approve you and assign you, they give you an award letter. So one of the first things they do when we submit the application with the pre-approval, and you're likely going to buy one of their homes under construction, so they won't run out of money out of that money. They may run for the next phase out of money, but they won't run out of that money. If they assign you an award, they have that money on escrow.
That's great information. Thank you, folks. Again, now is a perfect time. We definitely have had a lot more people booking. So please go ahead and click on the blue link in the chat. Book your one-on-one. There's only so much of Marlon and his team to be shared. You know, we're right here at the holidays. He wants to make sure he has an opportunity to be able to work with all of you. And this is definitely something that you want to be able to do. So I have a question from someone that messaged me privately. So Marlon,
Yes.
if I were single and I don't have young children and it's just me, but I want to buy a home, what if my household income, you know, again, it's just me. What if my income is below 50,000? What are some options that you have done, maybe different types of homes or co-signers? Could you explain a little bit of what's available?
Absolutely. My first home I bought with a co-signer, and it was a friend of mine that was not going to buy a house, had no interest in buying a home, had no family here, and I could use his income. So, you know, I told him, listen, you can live with me for a while, and we can buy the house. Give me a year for me to get my finances straight. And once I qualify for my own, then I can refinance you out. And that's exactly what happened. So yes, let's talk, because that would be an option. We'll discuss what you have, what you don't have, and how we can achieve what you don't have. So definitely a conversation is worthwhile, and we'll love to help you with that.
So I think that's wonderful. So in that case, friend that's on here, if you would just go ahead and book that and probably select that you have a co-signer, because it looks like that might be the direction you'll need to go in.
All right.
So again, got another question as far as that. So it's a $50,000 limit for just South Florida or all over Florida? I think you had explained that earlier as far as kind of where the market is, but I'll let you explain that better than I can.
Yeah, right. There's areas in Florida that, the medium price range is not nowhere close to 300,000. Maybe you're looking at Ocala, maybe you're looking at Deltona. I'm not an expert on all areas. So that example was created towards the South Florida and Central Florida markets, the ones that I know for a fact what the majority of my clients are. But I believe we needed to have some filters for this. You can see the amount of people that were in and the amount of people that were booking. There was not a lot of thought put into that, really, as far as we don't want to talk to you. It was just one of those filters that you have to have in order to limit and to be able to successfully treat every single one of you. But if I believe there's a way, Tanya will correct me, that you can at least send the message directly so that we can find a place for you if the link is not allowing you to book it.
Yes, I have had a couple of people directly message me, Marlon, we're going to make sure that we can talk to anybody. But again, like you said, if somebody does not hit that 50,000, the likelihood of needing a cosigner, that gives you more options.
Yes, it could increase your chances by a lot. And again, maybe your declared income is not 50,000, right? But maybe you have a side hustle and you make an extra 1,000 or 2 a month that we cannot use, but you will feel comfortable with the payment plan that will go towards that bigger home. So if you have a co-signer, it will allow you to get the house and it will allow you to even monetize the house. Maybe you have an extra room, rent it out. Whatever the case may be, we'd like to get you pre-approved and moved into your home.
Now, Marlon, I know that we are 5 minutes before being done, but I've got 2 questions that are great. Before I ask those, folks, we are down, excuse me, we're down to only 13 spots left. If you were ready, go ahead and click on that blue link, book your 30-minute call with Marlon and his team. It is going to be so informative for you. So 2 of my favorite questions. 1, talk to us about multifamily. Tell us what options are available. Somebody that sounds pretty savvy said they wanted to know if they lived in multifamily, what could they do?
Listen, that's one of the most interesting aspects of first-time home buying. Okay, if you find a 1 to 4 unit opportunity, whether it be a duplex, triplex, or a building with 4 apartments, right? You can purchase the property. They're considered residential. But when you look at duplex and triplex, for example, the most common ones, you can buy the duplex using your income, or the triplex. Your income will qualify you to a certain point. Obviously, you're paying more money for that property. But when we use the rental income, estimated rental income, market estimated income of those other units attached to yours, we can use a very high percentage of that income to qualify you for the complete purchase. So as long as you have that 3.5% down payment on the purchase price, we can use the unit's income to satisfy the lack of income on your side for the entire property. So in other words, you'll have 3 incomes, your income and the both units' income to qualify for that. Live in it a year, find another one, we'll rent that one, we'll buy another one. We can do this every weekend.
That's fantastic. So another big question, I got a similar question from 2 or 3 people. So we have debt. We have some things we need to do. Do we work on getting the credit where it needs to be and dealing with the debt? Or should we go ahead and meet with you so we know what we should be paying off and what we should be changing?
Absolutely, definitely meet with me. I will be able to tell you once I take a look at your real scenario. Because sometimes I talk to people and they think they have one thing and they think they're done, they'd never be able to buy a house. And when I look at it and I can show them, listen, with just this little investment, you may be able to get that. And if and there are many different programs, that many different ways that would apply to certain people or certain scenarios, and you may be overthinking it, right? You may be a little bit too negative about your situation. Allow me to tell you what it is that you need to do on your particular specific scenario. What works for me may not be the same thing that works for you, but if I'm able to tell you, to evaluate what you have, you'll have the right information.
Understood. That's fantastic. I had a couple of people ask, to your knowledge, are there programs that are specifically for single mothers?
In the housing market, those are not popular if they do exist. I know for the rental market, yes. In my history, I had the chance to work with some of the counties that would give, whether it's women involved in domestic violence or single mothers, some kind of assistance for their rental, okay, opportunities. For the purchase, the only thing I can think of is the first-time home buyer and down payment assistance for being a member of that community and within that income bracket. That doesn't mean it
Wonderful.
doesn't exist. We can evaluate that and see what's out there.
Wonderful, folks. I got some exciting news. We have 9 spots left. I'm so excited. This has been wonderful. I cannot wait for Marlon and his team to be able to help you all. Go ahead and book your appointment. Click on that blue link, book. I don't want you to miss your opportunity. We've got a couple more questions, Marlon. We're pushing right up at 8:30. Do you mind if we just go a couple of extra moments?
You're fine. Let's do it.
Okay, great.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
I got
Let's do it.
me too. I got a phenomenal question. One of my favorites about the 203K loan.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how does that work with some of the first-time home buyer programs and such?
Okay. The 203K loan is an FHA program that allows you to buy a property that may have certain things that puts it out of code. For example, I remember my first 203K loan was in 2017 for a buddy of mine, a baseball player. He found his house in Loxahatchee that they were in love with for a year. The house was on the market a year before, they couldn't get it. Finally, we went out there and we got the house. It needed a new roof. He needed to replace certain thing with the sewer that was not up to code and whatnot. Well, basically, the way the program works is it allows you to purchase the house. They send out, FHA will send out an inspector to evaluate the damages and what needs to be done. And they'll give you a list of contractors that can do that work. And based on the after repair value of the property is where the loan is made. So they'll give you up to a certain amount of money to repair and include it on the loan with your 3.5% down. There's a lot more into it, but that's basically the idea of it. It allows you to buy the home, make the repair, the repairs needed to be up to code and to be able to close on an FHA appraisal. And that after repair value is the one that is used to close.
That's fantastic. I hope that answers your question, Pete. Also, another great question. They wanted to know about, they said that HOA fees, mortgage insurance, that all of that kind of information, that's something that you can help them figure out the budget on, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's 3 things that would affect the total monthly payment of your purchase, your home. Principal and interest are secure at the beginning of the loan. So we'll lock the interest rate and you will know exactly what your principal and interest will be for the life of the loan. Likely a first-time home buyer will have a 30-year fixed mortgage, okay? So your principal and interest amount is the same. Now, mortgage insurance on an FHA loan will be 0.85% of your loan amount. So whatever the loan amount is, you're gonna have that particular payment, so close to 1%. If it's a conventional loan, now your credit score gets applied when we run the rate, and it will give us what your private mortgage insurance will be. It's likely gonna be much lower if your credit score is very good, okay? It's definitely much lower than FHA. But FHA allows you for other flexibilities when you buy the house, such as credit score and the amount of your debt to income compared to conventional. But going back to the cost, HOA is a fixed cost that may or may not change. That community may have a need, and they'll have to raise your HOA fees. I've never seen one go down. So you should expect that at some point in your life, that HOA may have to change their fees. Your insurance may increase or may go down. Right now, we're having a situation with Florida where insurance premiums are very high compared to other states, and it has a lot to do with legal issues in the state of Florida than with the storms. Most people don't know that. Well, we just happen to know that that's what's happening, and hopefully over the next few months, we may have a new legislation affect us positively with the insurance premiums, but it is one of the costs that may go up or down as your the life in your loan happens, so that residence. The last thing is taxes. You're going to have a tax bill every year applied to your home that will typically increase slightly every year or every couple of years. You may have a new valuation and it may increase a little bit. Doesn't really go up by much, except for when the property changes hands. So when you buy it, at some point over the next year or two, your tax bill will adjust to whatever the new amount to that property is going to be. I hope that helps.
That's amazing information. Thank you so much, folks. We are down to only 7 spots left. Again, if you are ready to have that conversation with Marlon and his team, go ahead and click on the link. It's going to ask you a question as far as your household income. Marlon had explained that whether you have a household income of $50,000 or more gross annual per year, or if you have a co-signer, that's up to you. Click on the link and go ahead and book your appointment. Folks, we are already 5 minutes over. I have one last question. If I have missed any of your questions, I'm so sorry. I would suggest you book your appointment with Marlon. He is going to be answering so many more questions for you, personal to you. So last question, and Shanika, thank you so much. I'm so glad you asked this one. Marlon, can you tell us about first responder type programs available in Florida that you work with, and what are those? What's that information? Can you help us?
We have the Heroes program, which had just been launched. It was launched several months ago in the state of Florida, but it wasn't really working well. I think they didn't have their I's and D's crossed together. But I actually got an email a few days ago regarding being executed or implemented now in the wholesale channel, which is the one that we use as mortgage brokers. We have access to a multitude of banks, multitude of programs, but that program was not yet available to us. So the vast majority of the people, about 60%, 70% of the people that buy a home in the United States go through a broker. So imagine most of the people didn't have access to that program, unless they had to go to the main bank, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. That process is never ending. But anyways, now we just have been informed that it is available. I believe as of beginning of January, for us to provide it to our clients. I'm really excited because there's a lot of people that I had to not turn away, but tell them, if you can find it in your local bank, go and try to do it. But unfortunately, we didn't have it yet. And now we will have it. So I'm very excited. First-time responders or a Heroes program would allow you, depending on your or where you work, as a doctor, fireman, nurse, police officer, etc. You have some incredible concessions up to $25,000 towards your down payment and closing costs. So definitely contact us about it.
I know I told you that I wouldn't ask another question, but this one is a private question that came to me and I don't want to miss it. Do you mind one more?
Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay. For the person that private messaged me, it's a veteran, and I just want to say thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
Can
service.
you tell us if you handle VA loans or?
Yes. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
We love VA loans.
So folks, if any of you, your spouse are veterans or in active military, go ahead and book an appointment with Marlon because there are programs available to you and he works with those.
Yes, no down payments are great. Let's use those benefits.
So it's a great opportunity. Folks, thank you so much for the opportunity. We are finished with the Q&A session. We are down to 5 spots left available. Thank you all so much for booking your appointments. I have Marjorie, Vanessa, Carolina, Angel, Greta, Shaniqua, Alicia, Crystal, Jana, Kernisha, Margaret, Natasha, Dana. If I did not call your name, we do have it. I appreciate you all so much. Please send some love to Marlon for all of this information in the chat. And Marlon, I'm going to be quiet so you can say goodnight to the folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being connected tonight. I know it's very important that you've taken time off your family and work or whatever the case may be at this particular time in the evening. I am now very pleased, feel very grateful that I had the opportunity to discuss this and share my information with you, to answer some of those questions and to maybe create some long-term relationships with many of you. I appreciate your assistance. I appreciate your patience with me and my very strong accent. I've been here for 20 years, haven't improved much. So I thank you for taking the time for listening to me. Tanya, Gigi, thank you very much for helping Remy. You guys are fantastic, phenomenal. Have a beautiful night and see you next time.
Thank you so much, Marlon. Everybody's saying happy holidays and all their appreciation. When you're ready, sir, you can just end the meeting.
Awesome. How do you do that? Okay, bye.